You can't build whatever you like when you buy from an estate in Abuja, and that is a fact. In today's live session, we'll be telling you about building prototypes across Abuja and why it is that when you're buying property in Abuja, you can't just decide what you want to build by yourself. No, if you're conversant with the Abuja real estate space, then you would know that you can't just build what you want, especially when you're buying from a real estate company or from an estate. Now, why is that so? So in Abuja, it is so designed that I wouldn't go into the phases of Abuja and the development and all of that. No. One thing you should know that Abuja is an organized real estate system. It was so designed that there is a uniformity of buildings in different places. So there are places where you go to, or you see are bungalows, and some other places, terraces, and blocks of apartments, and they should look a certain way so that there can be a form of uniformity of like I want to say like-minded houses around a particular location. All right. So before we go into the different types of building prototypes that are seen across Abuja or in the Abuja real estate space, let us first of all look at what exactly first is a building prototype. When you hear the word prototype, what should come to mind? Okay, we're going to look at that first. So basically, I'll just say it in the simplest of forms. A building prototype is simply a building design that is meant to be repeated across a space, a place for uniformity. Basic, simply put, that is what a building prototype is. According to Claude, it's a standard pre-designed building model that can be replicated across multiple locations with minimal customization. That is what it is. So what that simply means is it is designed, a blueprint that is designed, especially the external structure of the building. It's what banks use as well. If you realize certain banks, they have the same type of design across all their branches in Nigeria. Zenith, all of them, those banks, right? They have a building prototype which every branch anywhere should follow, should have something that looks similar to that design. So that is what a building prototype is. It is meant to give an estate uniformity. So you won't go here and see a house looking like, what can I use now? So you won't go here, see a house looking like this, then go somewhere, see another house looking like this, No. If this area is for terraces, everywhere there will be all terraces. If you go to another place and they are all standalones, they should all be standalones, right? That is the idea of building prototypes to give uniformity to an estate so that they will all look alike. There will be that uniformity, that class, that feel of organization in the estate. Now, when it comes to Abuja, why can't you build what you want to build when you're buying from an estate? Back to that. The last live session, we talked about plot sizes in Abuja, and I let you know that different plot sizes have building prototypes that were designated for them. So you cannot buy a 150 square meter plot and decide you want to build a standalone 5-bedroom duplex on it. My Nigerian folks will say, as how now? It's not possible. If you're buying a 150, the approved building prototype for a 150 is a terrace duplex. And going down in this live today, I would show you different prototypes of buildings, what they should look like. A terrace, a standalone, semi-detached block of units of flats, exactly all of them, what they should look like. Now, it's not a design that is generally accepted. It's just one of the properties that we have, what theirs looks like. Okay, so you can have an idea. When I say terrace, you have an idea, oh, this is what it should look like. This is what he's talking about. All right, so I'm going to be showing you that as well. Now, for a 150 square meter, the approved prototype often in Abuja is a terrace duplex. What are terrace duplexes? I'm going to be showing that to you right now on my screen. But while I'm getting that out, when you also hear semi-detached. Semi-detached is often for 250 square meters, sometimes 350 as well for a semi-detached. Semi-detached are two houses standing next to each other. Let's say I like to be descriptive to give you a mental picture before I show you the actual picture. So this is like two buildings standing next to each other by a common door fence separating the two of them. Two buildings next to each other, right? That's what semi-detached is. Then terrace are like buildings next to each other. One, two, three. You understand? I'll show you the picture, all of that. Terraces next to each other, right? That's what terraces look like. Okay, and then standalones, of course, are buildings standing alone, as the name suggests. It stands alone in a compound space or a plot size, as it were. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you what a terrace looks like right now, right here. Let me quickly share my screen and show you what a terrace looks like. So a terrace is going to look good. So this is what a terrace looks like right now. Terraces are often buildings standing like this next to each other. You see that 1, 2, 3, 4 is a line of terraces all available right there for you. And this particular building prototype is approved for 150 to 200 square meters for terraces. That is what you can build on that. That is that building prototype for that kind of building. And how about a 250? What's the building prototype for a 250? Like I mentioned in my previous slide, what's approved for that? I'll be showing that to you right here as well. So for a 250 square meter is a semi-detached duplex, and on a semi-detached, what a semi-detached looks like is this right here. I'll share my screen again for you to see. A semi-detached. This is what you're likely going to see. All right, so this is a semi-detached duplex for a 250 square meter plot. So you see that? You see that right there? Two buildings standing next to each other, two duplexes standing next to each other, divided by a dwarf plot. This is it from another angle. See that? That is what a semi-detached looks like. Okay, and the next plot size I talked about was just 350. 350 can seat a standalone, but it's often 4-bedroom duplex standalone. Just so to mention as well, on a 250 square meters, you can also see a 5-bedroom semi-detached. It mustn't be 4-bedroom, it could be a 5-bedroom semi-detached. Then on a 350, it could be a 4-bedroom fully detached or 5-bedroom. But of course, that means there won't be a lot of compound space. That is the prototype often approved for that particular size. And I'll show you in this particular property, the prototype I'm using. This is Hutu exclusive Abuja. I'm using the prototypes here to show you these things, right? Hutu exclusive Abuja is an amazing project right here in Abuja, a golf resort estate located at the airport road axis, and those are the prototypes that are approved for the different plot sizes. Okay, so what I'm about to show you is the 350, what is approved for a 350 square meter, right? And it's a 4-bedroom standalone duplex for a 350 square meter plot. I'm going to show that to you. All these prototypes I'm using here are from the Hutu exclusive. Okay, so now there it is. You see that? This is a 4-bedroom standalone on a 350 square meter plot fact, I'll just be showing you everything here. I wouldn't come back to my face again, so you can just see everything clearly. That's that's a 350 square meter for a 4-bedroom standalone. That's it from different angles. You see that front view, side view, diagonal view. That is what is approved for a 350 square meter plot. That is the prototype. You can't decide that, oh, on my 350, I want to build a semi-detached. No. As long as you're buying from an estate, you have to comply with the approved building prototype on that particular estate. That's the way it works. Now, let's look at the next plot size here. So for Hutu exclusive, the approved prototype for a 450 is 1-bedroom block of flats, right? So these are 1-bedroom apartments. That is what was approved for this particular project right here. So you can't say, oh, but other estates are saying that 450 is for a 5-bedroom standalone. I want to build. No, sir. No, man. If you want a 5-bedroom standalone on a 450, you just have to go to an estate that is offering that plot size and that prototype. Buy from them and build that there. But you can't say you want to exclusive 450 and want to build a 5-bedroom. No, you have to comply with the prototype that's been approved for that plot. So this is 4-bedroom block of flats, 1-bedroom block of apartments, I beg your pardon, that has been approved for a 450 at Hutu exclusive. Okay, that is what is obtainable there. That's what you can build on a 450. All right. Now, how about 500? The building prototype approved for it is a 5-bedroom standalone duplex. So this is anybody that is buying a 5-bedroom standalone duplex. This is what you're going to build. You're following this prototype. It must look like this externally. You can't, I even didn't mention this now. The external features must be the same. You will say, oh, because they say this, maybe they say we should build 5-bedroom duplex. Let me build my own 5-bedroom in my own style. Sir, ma, your own style can only be existent inside of the building, but externally, it must look like this. Externally, it must look like this. For a 500 square meters in Hutu exclusive, this is what it should look like. And how about the 750? So for a 750, what was approved here is 2-bedroom block of flats. Okay. So you can't say I want to build a 7-bedroom on the 750 in Hutu. If you want that, you have to go to somewhere else that has that plot size for that particular reason. For instance, I know of a property that's in Katampi Extension, I think it's Gulf City. They have a 600 square meter for a 5-bedroom, right? If you want compound space, exactly, you go to the estate that is offering that and buy from there. But for a 750 at Hutu exclusive, this is what is obtainable. You would get on a 750 2-bedroom block of flats. That's what you can build on that. You can't just decide and say, oh, I want to build what I want then. No, sir. No, sir. You would definitely just build this. Okay? Then let's look at just every plot size here and the approved prototype. So on a 1,000, so the 1,000 square meter here at Hutu exclusive was approved for 2 prototypes. So you can either do 3-bedroom blocks of apartment, right? 3-bedroom, 6-unit blocks of apartment. You see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of 3-bedroom apartments at the Hutu exclusive. This is what you can build on that. That is the prototype that has been approved for that. Or you do a 7-bedroom maisonette on the 1,000 square meters. Those are the building prototypes that have been approved for a 1,000 square meters. Again, the external design must comply with that of the estate that you are buying for. You see that this is actually very beautiful. This saves you a lot. This saves you getting your own architect to start designing the external features. No, you're just buying. It's like plug and play. That saves you a whole lot. That's one beautiful thing about the Abuja real estate market. The design is already on ground. You just have to take it and start building. That saves you a lot already. Unlike some other places in Nigeria where you have to contract an architect and start designing from the scratch and all. Here, you just get this and start building immediately. So you see that each plot size has what it was or is approved for in Abuja. You don't just, I've said that a lot of times, but I will say it again, you don't just buy a plot and decide that you're going to build this on that. You have to comply with the building prototype that estate is offering. Now something I wanted to say, yes, it's also a good place to mention that I've said it before, your external, and it's your external, the external features or structure of the building must align, must look like that of your neighbor. It's how it is done in Abuja real estate when you're buying from an estate. It is important that you know this so you don't, because especially people who are not experienced in the Abuja real estate, so you won't think that you are forced. It's not. It's most of the time it's an offer letter. That's why it's important that you read or ask someone to help you study the offer letter when you get one. When you want to build, offer letters are often given to you. Then it shows you what's obtainable when you buy from this estate so that you can study it and say, oh, is this it? Okay, I want it. Then you sign and go ahead with your purchase, payment, and all of that. That is why the offer letter exists. And I encourage my clients to study the offer letter. It is for your safety. This offer letter is for your safety. Study it so you can have your questions answered as well. Or why is there no? For instance, at the Hutu exclusive, right now, you're not allowed to have generators, right? It's all green energy. It's an eco-friendly estate. Solar panels are allowed, but you can't have a loud generator that emits carbon and all of that. It's not allowed. It's in the offer letter. So that when you leave there and begin to, and some things come up, you can't start saying, but they didn't say, it's all in the offer letter. So it's important that you know these things. The prototype is actually for your own good, okay? The prototype is actually for your own good. So that's it today, building prototypes in Abuja. However, it's also important to know that, but if you're buying from a single land, you're buying a single plot size somewhere in Bawalada, Kuje, wherever, then you have to design your own building prototype and then take it to the authorities, to FCDA, TDC, to an URP also to look at it and approve it. That's if you're buying from a single plot. You design, take the prototype to the necessary bodies, then they approve that prototype for you. All right? That's how it's done. But if you're buying from an estate, there's no need to call an architect to design from the scratch and then take for approval. No, that's been done for you already. The estate has done that. All you need to do after completion of payment and allocation is to begin to build with the approved building plan or building prototype for that plot that you bought. That is how it is when you're buying from real estate companies or from an estate. So what is your major takeaway from this in understanding building prototypes in Abuja? Number one, you buy the plot that suits the need, the house, the prototype you want to build. You want to build a terrace, you're looking at 150 to 200, right? And then you also need to see the building prototype to see if it's a design that you like, if you're planning to live there. So when you see it, you know, oh, this is a part that most people don't do. You look at it and say, oh, I like this design or I don't like it. So that you can see different estates, their 150, 200, and the building prototype that they have for it and know if it is something that you like. The same for other plot sizes. That's the first thing you should know. The plot size goes with the prototype, okay? Number two, you can't just build what you like. You can't just build, the external design is not what you like. It must conform and comply with what has been approved in that estate, okay? These are the two major takeaways that you must know. And this, as a side note, as a bonus, always look at your offer letter, study your offer letter, ask your realtor, agent, the company you're working with. If you have questions, let them explain it to you so that you will be on the same page with them, right? And one thing you should know that the developers are also trying to protect their own integrity and their own excellence, right? That is why these prototypes also exist. because all the building prototypes have been approved by the necessary bodies. And if they erect a structure that was not approved, that is going to bring the wrong kind of government attention their way. Imagine I own an estate, I'm operating everything as should, and because maybe I want to be lenient, my brother wants to buy from my estate. And I say, yo, bro, take 500. Build what you want to build, bro. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro. And on the 500, he decides to build a 3-story block of flats. The government will come and demolish it because they did not approve that for that estate in that place, right? So if that goes out, story will go out that, oh, at Roy's estate, a 3-story building was demolished. Other people begin to get worried. They begin to say, okay, what's going on? What happened? This, that, and that bad energy goes out, and it tarnishes the name of my estate. So all of this is to also protect the integrity of the company and also make sure that you on your part don't get to experience troubles later on. Because if they come and get demolished, you're still going to blame me, the developer, for allowing you to build what was not approved. So all of this is for the safety of the company, safety of you, the buyer or the investor, and for the safety of the government too, because they spend money to demolish as well. Everybody's safety. That is why you must comply with these building prototypes. So that is it on building prototypes today on this session. We'll continue next week more about Abuja real estate. Next week, I'll be telling you the different projects that we have in the city of Abuja, and I may likely also be showing you the building prototypes of each of these projects so you can look at it and know if it's something you like. If you like any one of them, you know what to do. My phone number will be in the description. Just call me and I will let you in on what it is about. Until then, keep living an awesome life. Keep doing the best you can do to make your life and the world a better place. My name is Moore-Ashimole. I'm a real estate practitioner, real estate consultant in the city of Abuja, building a thriving business. And I would love to help you achieve your real estate goals right here in Abuja. If that's something you want to do, all you have to do is call me. My phone number is in the description of this video. Until then, enjoy a great day. And bye for now.